Hello everyone, welcome back to Connect to Care. I'm Tiffany Lloyd with The Gracious Mind, and we are here to give you tips and tricks about interpreting and beyond. Today we are so excited to talk about something that's really important to me, a topic that's something that I think about a lot and that I have to work on really often, and I'm really excited to talk about it with you all today. As you know, we've been doing a lot of really awesome things this summer with The Gracious Mind. We've had really awesome workshops and things that we've been offering. The Summer of Pride has been so much fun. And so through this whole process this summer, I have learned a lot about what the interpreting community is kind of needing right now, and especially with everything that we're going through the pandemic. There's a lot of interpreters that have been talking about mental health. It's a big hot topic right now that I think is really important to discuss. So one of the things that has come up several times in workshops that I've been teaching and workshops that I've been a part of is individuals feeling like assignments or things are coming up in assignments that are conflicting directly with their morals or their value system or their beliefs. And that has been really difficult for a lot of interpreters to navigate when they are put in situations that are maybe politically different than what they believe, or situations that differ from their religious beliefs, or situations that differ from their value set. And a lot of interpreters have been struggling with how to navigate these situations with the added stress of dealing with a pandemic and dealing with all of the stress that comes along with that. And one of the things that I think is super important is something that I actually learned back when I was an ITP. And that is to separate your worth from your work. And so often with interpreters, because of the type of work that we do, because we work with a community that is typically oppressed or underserved, we have a lot of empathy for their experience. We even have codas in our community who grow up in that community, and we have to deal with a lot of those emotions that come along with seeing people be oppressed or discriminated against. While often, if you're an interpreter of color or a person in a marginalized community, you feel that oppression very close to your heart, or you have experienced that same type of oppression in your own life. And with interpreting being this physical modality, right? So we have our hands in the air, we're using our hands, we're using our brain. That modality causes a lot of confusion for our brain. Our brain has a hard time separating our work from our worth as people. And I think it's really important. So I want to provide you with some of the things that I do to try and separate my worth from my work. I always like to say your worth is not indicative of your work, and your work is not indicative of your worth. And when we overlap those two is when we cause a lot of those conflicts between our morals, our beliefs, and our ability to do our job effectively. And one of the things that I really like to do is journal. And you know that I've talked about journaling a lot in a lot of these series, but a specific type of journaling is really helpful for this. And so what I like to do is create a column in my journal. And so one column will be work, one column will be relationships, one column will be friendships, and one column will be for me about myself. So with the work column, I will put things, depending on how I'm feeling that day, I will put things in there, what I do well at work. So I'm really good at catching finger spelling. I'm really good at doing numbers, those types of things I will put down. Whatever skills I'm working on, I will put those down. When it comes to relationships, I'll talk about the effective things that I do in those relationships, things that I do to show my partner that I care. And then when it comes to friendships, how I'm making those connections, how I'm continuing to keep those connections when maybe we haven't seen each other in a while because of the pandemic, and what that kind of looks like, how to keep those relationships strong. And some relationships, as you know, will wax and wane depending on what's happening in our lives. And so sometimes that looks a little different depending on whom I might be thinking about or what might be going on. The most important column, in my opinion, is the column about yourself. And this is where you need to do some of that work to separate that feeling of your worth and your work. And so in that column about myself, I will write things that I love about myself, things that I do well, things that are separate completely from interpreting, separate completely from work, and even separate from relationships, things that are about me that make me feel worthy as a human, as a human being, as a person. And so I will list those things in that column, and then I will go back and kind of look at all the columns and see things that might kind of have links or things that might be similar to each other. So if I put in my column that I'm really good at taking 10 minutes every morning to take care of myself, am I also taking that time 10 minutes every day to let my partner know that I care about them? What things kind of overlap? And then I like to look at what things are gaps and things that I'm missing within those lists, and try to create ways or things that I can do to be able to add those things on to other lists as well. So this is something that I kind of do to try and separate my worth from my work. Another thing that I will do is I will reach out to a mentor or someone who has seen my work as an interpreter on those days when I really feel like what's happening in the interpreting realm conflicts with who I am, my morals, and my beliefs. It's important to go to someone who knows who you are, who knows your morals, who knows your beliefs, who is there to support you, and just have a dialogue with them. Ask them about things that you're thinking about during that time, whatever the assignment might have brought up for you. Obviously, keeping in mind confidentiality, you don't want to share anything that is pertinent to the assignment that would break that confidentiality. But to be able to dialogue about the work, to be able to talk about how that work made you feel, can be super helpful. And often mentors are able to provide more insight into your skill set and into your worth as a person, because sometimes we are our own worst enemy, and other people will see the best parts of us and are able to sometimes illuminate those parts when we are unable to see them in ourselves. So I challenge you this week to go back over your work maybe lately. Think about an assignment that has come up that has caused that conflict and that feeling of your work and your worth overlapping. Maybe when you felt helpless during an assignment to be able to help a client, but you were doing the best you can to facilitate that communication. Go back over it. Think about it, do the journaling, do the work, and see how you feel in the next couple of days, and see if it kind of alleviates some of that burden that you feel when we tend to overlap our worth and our work. As always, we here at The Gracious Mind are here to support you. We want to see you succeed. We want to uplift interpreters. And so if you have any questions or you're in search of a practitioner who can help you with these types of things, reach out to us at thegraciousmind.com. Click subscribe below. We are happy to bring you these videos with Connect to Care. And we have several other videos that are super helpful related to anxiety and what we're dealing with the pandemic and everything like that. So check those out as well. Have a great week.